Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today for the Lytham Partners Winter 2021 Investor Conference. My name is Joe Dorame, Managing Partner of Lytham Partners. We welcome Global Bioenergies, Inc., ticker symbol ALGBE on the Euronext Paris Exchange. Joining us from the company today for the Fireside Chat is Marc Delcourt, Chief Executive Officer. Before we begin, Lytham Partners is one of the country's leading investor relations firm. With more than 2 decades of experience, we've built the industry's most effective platform for connecting small cap companies with high quality institutional investors. Hopefully today is another example of how we can add value. As a reminder, the company will be available for one-on-one meetings. If you'd like to sign up, please visit lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that, let's begin. Marc, please tell us about your background and provide us with an overview of the company.
Hello, Joe. Thank you for the introduction. So first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a microbiologist by training. Microbiologists educate bugs so they convert the sugars in a wide understanding given to it into chemicals that are for interest in various industries. So that's my initial background. And I turned an entrepreneur long ago, 25 years ago already. And Global Bioenergies is my second company. So Global Bioenergies was started in 2008 with the idea that we could teach bacteria how to convert sugars, again, in a wide understanding, it's not real sugar, but industrial grade sugar, into hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons usually are derived from oil. And here, what we wanted to do is to be able to produce renewable hydrocarbons. And this is for interest in various industries, especially in the fuels, of course. And today, we're working a lot in the SAF industry, so the sustainable aviation fuel industry. So we're in development phase. But the molecules we are producing are also of interest for many other fields, in the plastics, in the rubbers, in the flavors and fragrances, and in the cosmetics. And the cosmetics is the second field where we have our largest interest, more on the short term, because the prices are less under pressure than in the other fields. And so cosmetics is the right place to start.
That's great. What gets you excited about Global Bioenergies and what drives you to be successful?
So what we have at Global Bioenergies is a breakthrough technology. I think we really deserve the name of deep tech. We're belonging to a field, industrial biology, where people are developing processes to convert renewable feedstocks into various compounds, and most of the time it's only about improving the yields, improving the rate, and reducing and doing an industrial process based on something that nature already does. For example, ethanol is already produced in nature. Bacteria or yeast produce ethanol, and people have developed processes to develop ethanol at scale and at the right price point. But in our case, in the case of Global Bioenergies, what we've done is really designing a unique process, teaching bacteria something that is absolutely not produced in nature, a flammable gas that is named isobutene. And this isobutene is a platform molecule for many things. And so we designed this process, which is very unique, which was absolutely horrifically difficult to put in place, but now it's done. It's working well, and we're moving now to the commercial phase. And what is really exciting to me is really to see the shift from the R&D phase that has been dominating the company for more than 13 years now, shift to a situation where industry and commercial development are really the lead.
Okay, talk to us about your team at the company that will help execute your growth strategies here.
So we're a team of 50 people based in Paris. and our R&D facility are set a little bit outside of Paris in a town named Évry, which is nicknamed Biotech City in France, place where all the companies in biotech are developing their activities. So the team now is really gathering people from many different fields, including finance, including business, including industrial development, including chemical engineering, and of course R&D, microbiology and enzymology.
All right. What are the keys to turning Global Bioenergies into a big, rapidly growing company?
In fact, we have something in terms of roadmap, which is unique, I think, is we have identified 4 different markets with starting from very small volume and very high price to very large volume and much smaller price. It's what we call the toboggan. So we start with a small volume with price in 1,000 euros per kilo and go down to millions of tons, and that's a sustainable aviation fuel at a price that needs to be below 5 euro per kilo. And today we're executing this strategy. We are already commercial. We're commercializing our technology through a brand of makeup that we have developed ourselves. It might seem a little odd at the beginning for people to understand that a company like us, an industrial biology company, is not only producing ingredients but also the end products, the lipsticks and the mascaras, etc. But in fact, it's the way we have found to really start in business with a very clear differentiation factor, with a unique selling proposition. And we started doing exploiting this line of business earlier this year. We launched, in fact, this range in the summer. In 2022, we're going to move to a larger plant to produce more ingredients, more of this magical cosmetic ingredient that we are using as the core of our formulas for our own brand. And now today everyone wants to replicate what we've done, and we're going to be able to sell this ingredient to large players in the field, and this of course will accelerate our commercial development. So we're going to really start this new unit of production in Q1 next year, so it's very soon, and then we're going to move to an even larger production plant in 1,000 tons, and that's going to be in 2024. We're working on the case already, and we expect to be able to target larger markets in the cosmetics, not only the makeup but also the skincare and the hair care, where the molecule we are producing is used a lot already, but in a version where it is sourced from oil. And today, the big players in the cosmetics and everyone in the cosmetics, in fact, really want the products to be sourced from natural origin, and that's the value we have to offer.
That's great.
And eventually, the final business for us is the very large volumes in commodities and fuels, and we claim today that we have the best-in-class technology for sugar to sustainable aviation fuel, and this field is only starting. It's very small today, but we see that it's getting a lot of traction, and we expect to be a significant part of this revolution, which will save a lot of CO2, prevent CO2 to be from being emitted in the air.
Great. You've talked a little bit about the benefits of your naturally sourced IDD, but what makes the Global Bioenergies process unique?
In fact, what we are doing is we are producing a gas. So that's the only technology in the industry where you put sugar as a feedstock, and then the product is directly converted into a gas. And that's unique, and it brings a lot of advantages. You don't have any toxicity coming from the product to the bug. So you have virtually, could I say, a very stable process that you could use without the need to stop runs and to wash the tanks and sterilize them, as it is the case in standard technologies. In our case, we have very long runs, and so this is a lot of advantage. We also have a better usage of our installations because these long-lasting runs do not require maintenance as frequently as the classical technologies. And we also see our technology as unique because it is a kind of combination between elements taken from the fermentation industry and elements taken from the petrochemistry industry. And so the technology is now very robust, and we are eager to put it at scale in several steps.
All right. With the recent launch of your brand in cosmetics called Last, walk us through the products that you have in the marketplace and the respective commercial efforts.
So we have a range of 32 products in 4 product categories: mascaras, eyebrow mascaras, eyeshadows, and lipsticks. And so it's really an eyes and lips range. What we see is that we have a unique selling proposition, because what we need to say first is that all the long-lasting products are based on isododecane. Why? In fact, it's 50 years of industry in these long-lasting products has selected isododecane as the best basis for formulation. Everyone in the industry is using isododecane because it's a very good solvent and because it has exactly the right volatility. You need your products to dry up, and they need to dry up not too quickly and not too slowly. And isododecane has exactly the right volatility at the temperature of the skin. And so, because everyone is using isododecane, and because we had the first cosmetic grade renewable isododecane, we consider that we had the key in our hands to develop the first range of products being both natural and long-lasting with the same performances if compared to the best standards in the industry. And so that's really the selling proposition: performant and natural. No need to choose anymore. While often you have performant products, what you have today in the market is performant products, but from oil origin, or natural products, but that are not that efficient. So we are the only ones. That's the first range that really brings naturalness and performance at the same time.
Fantastic. Recently, you announced that your isododecane can be used with skincare and hair care products. Walk us through your timeline in entering these new, very large markets.
So that's true. While the market of makeup is quite small, because the units of makeup are small, it's like 5 grams per unit. In the skincare and in the hair care, we're talking about creams, about hair oils, about solar protection. The volumes are much larger. We're talking about 300 milliliters, so it's 50-fold larger than in the makeup. And so the volumes, we had a study done by Frost & Sullivan, one of the main market analysts, and they concluded that the market was 25,000 tons for IDD, isododecane, and the sister molecule IHD, isohexadecane, which are both derived from isobutene, the key platform molecule that we are producing. And so 25,000 tons is something. The market is expected to grow very quickly in the next few years, because isododecane and isohexadecane are at the core the big subject of the replacement of silicones. So we have a big market for the cosmetics, and that's really something of interest. We see that we could really take a stake of this market just because our product is natural. In fact, we're receiving an enormous amount of incoming emails asking us for renewable isododecane. The only question is the cost point. And in order to reduce our cost down, we need a larger plant. And we are working on a case, and we expect to be able to launch production at a much larger case in 2024, second half of 2024. And stay tuned, we'll say more in 2022, hopefully.
That's great. That kind of covers the manufacturing facility you were talking about moving from Germany to France. Let's move to partnerships. Can you talk to us about your key partnerships in the cosmetic space?
Well, in fact, we're pushed by L'Oréal. So L'Oréal, number one in the cosmetics, has invested in Global Bioenergies, 7 million euro in 2017, and that was the conclusion of a long-term collaboration we have with them, started in 2016, and which is intensifying year after year. Recently, the CEO of L'Oréal, Nicolas Hieronymus, said on French TV that what Global Bioenergies is doing is fantastic. We are going to push them and to open markets to them. That's exactly what he said. Well, that's the translation of what he said, and so that's exactly how we feel. We are in the L'Oréal space. So L'Oréal announced their objectives for 2030, and one of their key objectives is to bring naturalness in their formulas almost at 100%, 95% by 2030 of naturalness in all formulas of L'Oréal as an average. And what we see is that we have the potential, using our renewable isododecane, to contribute massively to this objective, because isododecane and sister molecule isohexadecane are large volumes in the cosmetics.
Very impressive, Marc. Changing gears to renewable fuel. Can you talk to us about your efforts in developing aviation fuel and what your plans are for commercialization?
So we did our first flight in 2021. We're very proud of it. So it was a small plane with the French champion of loopings, and he did a lot of the fancy stuff with our gasoline. So he came with a parachute still, so the thrust was not complete. But finally, everything went well, and the plane landed safely on the Reims airport. So it was the flight coming from Germany to France, and that was could I say a signal, because our story has been both French and German for many and many years. We have now very precise plans in the sustainable aviation fuel. So first, we are in the certification process for our technology. So as you might know, it takes a lot of verifications for a fuel to be certified for jet fuel. You don't put, there are a lot of controls regarding what you can put in a plane. And so there are only 7 technologies that are certified for sustainable aviation fuel as of today. And we're going to be in the very few ones added in 2022. And these technologies will compete for the market of sustainable aviation fuel in the future. There are several segments. You can do sustainable aviation fuel from vegetable oils, and that's, for example, the Finnish Neste Oil are doing that, Total as well. You can do sustainable aviation fuels from municipal waste, and that's what Fulcrum is doing in the US and maybe Enerchem in Canada. And you can also convert sugars, whatever they are, into sustainable aviation fuels, and there are a few competitors here. And what we claim is that we have the best technology on this segment, with the promise of the lowest cost in the future, and we expect that will be a significant part of this incredible market that is presently emerging. It has started, in fact, 2 years ago. Norway said we're going to have 0.5% of sustainable aviation fuel in all the tanks of the planes landing, taking off from Norway. The Swedish airports followed in 2021, and starting in January 2022, so in 15 days, the capital for sustainable aviation fuel will be France, because we have a binding mandate now for whereby all planes taking off from France will need to have 1% sustainable aviation fuel in the tank, and unless they do that, they will have a penalty. And so that's a big market. France is a big country, 70 million people, and so that's the place where the sustainable aviation fuel will really emerge, and we're going to be part of this story. We see that we have the best technology in the country that is pushing the most the sustainable aviation fuel. Of course, we expect to expand our production once started in other countries.
Marc, are modifications necessary for aircraft to use your biojet fuel?
None.
Wow, that's great. What other applications are you pursuing for your plant-derived isobutane that could become future growth drivers for the company?
We see an opportunity in the rubbers. In fact, the people are now moving to green tires. The big players in the industry, they want green tires in 2040. So tires 100% sourced from renewable origin. And in fact, if you look at the tire, about 4% of the weight of the tire is coming from isobutene. And there is no way you can substitute this. In fact, the inner layer of tires, the one that is gas tight, is 98% isobutene, and there is no substitute. So we're going to be on the critical path for the 100% green tire. Another opportunity is going to be the FNF, flavors and fragrances. In fact, the main aromas, the one for lemon and the one from mint, so they're named citral and menthol, they are derived from isobutene. 80% isobutene, 20% something else. And so there is a way today, it's big volumes, it's something like 40,000 tons, 40. And there is a way that we will bring naturalness in these flavors and fragrances as well. And there are other opportunities from isobutene. You produce very different things. Vitamin A, for example. Vitamin A is 80% based on isobutene, and it's a critical ingredient for feed. You produce paints, methacrylic acid, a component of acrylic paints, is made from isobutene. You produce, well, you name it. You really have a complete, what people call a product tree in the chemical space. You have a complete product tree for from the isobutene, and the only thing is to target the right volume and prices that make opportunities appealing.
That's great. Let's talk about partners. Who are your key partners within the aviation space?
In fact, we're working with Sky Energy. So today we are in the pre-certification phase. So we don't have partner, we don't have product to sell. In this phase, we're working on the regulatory, on the specifications, and all this, and we're working with the best player in the world named Sky Energy. It's a Dutch company that is pretty much centralizing all the new technologies and all the new batches and progresses and all the energy that is put by one or another in this sustainable aviation fuel industry is at some point supported and assisted by Sky Energy. So we're working with them, and they're helping us a lot in moving our story forward. Of course, at some point, we will need a big partnership with a big player. This big player could well be an oil company. It could also be airlines. It could also be blenders that are active in the industry. There are different options, and we're reviewing them, and we're getting ready. We're preparing for the phase where our product will be in planes, will be in demonstration at large scale, and we will start impacting the CO2 emissions of the planet.
Great. Given the global supply chain issues, what are you doing to mitigate these issues for the company?
Nothing. In fact, we are in small volumes today, so we don't suffer at all from the supply disorganization. We're having our products that are a little bit our feedstocks that are a little bit more expensive, and that's not good. But that's all. We don't have a significant impact.
Okay. What are the key milestones investors should be looking for 2022? And if we sit here 12 months from now, what are the biggest risks to achieving those goals?
So, as I said, we are dividing our life in 4 horizons. Horizon 1 is our brand. So we're selling in a DNVB mode, digital native vertical brand. So it means e-commerce, and that's it. And so we're starting to sell, and we are starting the exponential. And that's going to be something to watch in 2002. Is our brand really gaining traction? That's going to come from our USP. That's going to come from are we street smart? Are we able to sell really? We're going to see that in 2022. Horizon 2 is our production unit that we are presently building in eastern France. It's going to be live in February 2022, so in 3 months. And it's going to produce ingredients for the big players in the industry. This is going to be a very exciting industrial venture. We're going to start the production. We're going to ramp it up. We're going to have all the excitation and troubles that people have when starting a commercial unit. In fact, we could consider it as a semi-works, as people consider it in the US. It means it's both a demo plant and a commercial plant. We're starting to sell, but it also contributes to prove the technology, preparing for a larger plant, and that's our Horizon 3. Our plant that we forecast for 2024 will have to happen in 2022 in terms of deal signing. We need to sign deals to raise the funds, do all the kickoff of the construction that needs to be done in as soon as 2022, and we're working at it. The project is now in place, and we expect to be able to do a great strike on this new plant, new technology, new plant. That's going to be a good thing, and so that's a big milestone for 2022. Having this plant story becoming really concrete, and then 2022 will also be the time in our Horizon 4 for the certification of our sustainable aviation fuel solution, and maybe we're going to be able to attract a big partner in this industry. We'll see.
Very good, Marc. Anything else you want to say before we end the discussion?
I think we covered everything. Thank you so much, Joe, for your questions. I think they were very comprehensive.
Wonderful. Well, Marc, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today. Again, if you'd like to sign up for a one-on-one meeting with Global Bioenergies, please visit lythampartners.com/virtual. click the one-on-one meeting request button. We wish you all a good day and enjoy the conference.
Bye.